I'm David Boyle and I'm quitting alcohol. I'm quitting alcohol. Fucking Australia. I watched the end of probably the most Australian documentary TV show, fucking whatever the fuck you want to call it, last night, and it really puts Australia in perspective. Is there really much to save? So, if you haven't heard of this TV show, it's on Netflix. It's called Last Stop Larrimah. It's 2 one-hour episodes, and it's about a country town in the absolute middle of fucking nowhere in the Northern Territory, 200 kilometers from fucking anything. I think it's like 9 hours from Darwin. This town had a population of 11 people, and then one went missing, and that's what the 2 episodes are about. Finding out what happened to this missing resident of Larrimah. And I tell you what, it gets bleak. Once you leave certain places in Australia, shit gets bleak real fucking quick. Like, you've got the cities in Australia, and the cities are fucking... What are the cities? The cities are Asian now. There's no Australians in the cities. Maybe you'll find a couple of like Australian alcoholics still lurking around the cities that are like the characters in Last fucking Stop Larrimah. Maybe there's a couple still floating around. Some people who bought their places when the place they were living in was a complete shithole. Places in Sydney, like where I'm living now, and in Melbourne, like Richmond, Carlton, St Kilda, all that sort of shit. You still might find a couple, but for the most part, the cities are Asian. Then you move out to the suburbs. Suburbs are a bit more of a mixed bag. You get your whites out there, you get your ethnics, you get your wogs, which comprise Turkish, Greek, Italian, fucking Spanish, whatever you want. Any European country is considered wog. Maybe even a few Middle Eastern countries can get thrown in there as well. But the burbs, still Aussie, but you've got that fucking immigrant element to it. But once you leave the burbs, once you head country, it starts getting Aussie, and I tell you what, nothing sends a bigger chill down my spine than an isolated Australian, Aussie country town. You don't know what the fuck's happened there. You don't know the history. You don't know what feuds are going on. You don't know who's murdered people. You don't know how they ended up there. It's eerie, and there's a sense of violence. And that's a little bit like Last Stop Larrimah. That's what it was like. I'm not going to go into any details of the show. Just go on to Netflix and watch it, and you'll get an insight into the Australian character. That type of character, that Australian character that you'll see in this particular show, it's sort of dead in the suburbs and the cities, but it's still well and truly alive once you get out of town. That's what people in the cities don't realize. This Last Stop Larrimah, it's 2016. It's not like it was 1982. That's what it feels like. It felt like 1982. I remember growing up, and pretty much everyone around was some sort of variation of the characters in Last Stop Larrimah. And we weren't that far from the city. Unnerving characters. Larrikins, we call them here. But Jesus Christ. You're glad they've been pushed out of populated areas. You're glad they're fucking in the middle of nowhere. That's where you want them, hidden. Because I feel like the Australian national character is a alcoholic, full-blown alcoholic, violent shit stirrer. Sometimes you forget that the actual character of Australian people is very violent because you're like in the city or near the city and you're protected and everything's like safe here. But it wasn't always like that. There's a big part of the national character that is just violent, alcoholic, and wants to cause trouble and loves causing trouble. And it's fun. It's fun to a certain fucking extent. I remember this guy in Dramana. He was one of the older dudes, had full grey hair and shit. I think he was about 60 or something. I think his name was Chuka. I can picture his face. I can't remember if his name was fucking Chuka though. I'm pretty sure it was, because we were like, fucking what? Chuka stabbed someone to death on the bridge. When we found out, we were like, what? Isn't he like almost dead? Like, he's old. But this dude, one of the Dramana local guys you'd see down at the fucking footy all the time, was stumbling home drunk from the pub one night and got into an argument with a friend or some shit like that and just fucking stabbed them to death. He'd always be at the footy and shit going, well done, boys. Well done. Well done, boys. Must have had a bad night on the pokies or something. Anyway, he's in jail. He fucking... No more footy for fucking Chuka. Last Stop Larrimah just reminded me, just a tinge, like it was nowhere near as bad as Last Stop Larrimah. But Dramana back in the day and Rosebud and Rye and all those places along the peninsula, you had those characters, all these fucking characters, just crazy Australians, like out of their mind. Like there's no way you can talk sense into them. Just violent, crazy, fueled on fucking booze and drugs, plenty of drugs as well. And half of them, you don't even know if you're here or there with them. You don't know if you're mates with them or they're going to fucking smash you in the face. And then it was all fun as well. It was all like tinged with violence and laughter, but like a psychotic laughter. Bathurst also had a little bit of that as well. The locals in town when I was at university, the university fucking kids, that's why you're there, but it's like fucking farmer cowboy town out there as well. And they're all like rough, strong, rugby, fucking work the land, fight, drink, party. Someone might get killed at some point, fucking dudes. So you always have to be, you always have to be a little bit switched on. And then what happens, this is where all the problems start. You take these small Australian country towns and it's fucking dudes and everyone's drinking, everyone's pretty violent, and there's a limited amount of puss. There's only so much local town puss to go around. Now, two good things about Dramana and Bathurst. Dramana, it was right on the fucking beach, so at least during the summer, there would be a shitload of tourists come down, so there was excess girls. So everyone would get their fish over summer. And then there was Bathurst. Bathurst was a whole different ball game. When Bathurst was really cranking in the prime, when that university was like in its fucking prime, there'd be like 10, 15,000 students come in. The number one course was like nursing, and then there was like primary school teaching, and then journalism and shit like that. It was like 3 or 4 to 1 girl to guy ratio. It was amazing. So there was also enough to go around there. But when you get these small little fucking country towns isolated, all the half decent girls get snapped up 19 years old. The rugby dude or the AFL fucking dude snaps up the hottest girl real quick. They lock it in. Pregnant early, kids, whatever. And then there's like 2 or 3 other decent ones in the town that get snapped up. And the rest, it's a little bit of a free-for-all, and everyone starts fucking everyone. And then there's cheating, and then that fuels the violence. And then everyone wants to talk shit, and then there's it's country town Australia. Fuck that. You see it. You see it when you drive through Australia. You'll stop into a small town. I used to stop into pubs, and if it's a small enough town and it's not usually visited by tourists, it can get pretty dark pretty quickly in these joints. It can turn fucking quick as well. And that's for like white Australians. Like we're just 2 hours drive away and they hate us. Imagine what they feel about immigrants. Anyway, I don't even know what Australia's like anymore. I have no fucking idea. I'm in such a little fucking bubble. That's what happens in comedy as well. You do gigs, so many gigs in the city, and the city isn't a good representation of the rest of Australia. So you end up in this little bubble. A lot of other comedians fucking get caught out as well. And then you go to do gigs outside of the city and the suburbs. You go into these old towns and you're like, holy shit, this is Australia. And most inner city comedians, they get fucking their asses handed to them. Hardcore. Like it's embarrassing when they leave the city. Your little woke fucking jokes don't work out there. It's real fucking shit out there. But also, they're annoying cunts out there too. They want 80s style comedy. They're not ready for this new age shit. Anyway, go watch Last Stop Larrimah and tell me what you fucking think. That's Australia. That's what Australia used to be, but it's still out there as well. Just not in the cities. Anyway, that'll fucking do it for today, and I'll see you the fuck later.